bias. The assumptions we make, the perspectives we carry, and how they shape the way we see other people and the world around us. But instead of trying to point fingers or say what's right or wrong, this space is about slowing things down, about having honest conversations, sharing real experiences, and trying to understand what lies beneath those first impressions. So whether you're here to reflect, to challenge your own perspective, or just to listen, you are welcome here. This is Beneath Bias, unveiling one story at a time.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of DDRN Presents Beneath Bias. On today's episodes, meet the team behind Beneath Bias, learn what we are all about and what you can expect from future episodes.
Yes, so this podcast is really about something we all experience, whether we realize it or not, bias. So, like to start things off, I think it makes sense to begin with something we all experience, bias. When you hear the word bias, what does it actually mean to you?
I feel very comfortable with starting off the term of bias from science perspective because I've always been a fan of science. So technically we have two parts in our brains, the unconscious part and the conscious part. The unconscious part for me is extraordinary because it can process too much information in such a long time compared to the conscious part. And that happens with shortcuts, is using shortcuts that we have developed in our early stages of life through our background, cultural environment, or even personal experiences. Our unconscious makes instant decisions about everything super fast, and that is the reason that most of the time is quite wrong. So I want to make a very simple example here. So a book and a pen cost €1 and 10 cents. The book costs €1 more than the pen. How much does the pen cost? I will give you a few seconds to think about it. Well, you, Samuel, know the answer. So what about you, Bustami?
I don't know. Maybe like 10 cents here. Yeah.
10 cents. Well, 50% of people say 10 cents, but the correct answer is actually 5 cents. What is interesting is not just a mistake, it's a very common mistake people do. It's because our mind jumps very quickly to answers because it feels obvious at the moment. But if you take a step back and you actually make an equation about it, you will find out that it's actually 5 cents costing the pen and €1 and 5 cents the book costs.
Is it because of some mathematical calculations or?
Yeah, this is the analysis part. If you take a step back, use the pen and the book and do the analysis and make an equation, so the pen will cost 5 cents and the book will cost €1 and 5 cents. This is the only correct answer.
So our automatic answer is based on our unconscious.
Yeah, because we also create an image in our minds. The book costs €1 and the pen will cost 10 cents. So if we add that, is €1 and 10 cents. Super quick answer.
Okay, I see.
This is just a small test that we can see that we're all biased. We have this in our minds. It's a filter. It's not something that we have to cure it. We oversimplify life because we want to make everything quick, and it's not a problem because we want to open the door. We want to say hi to someone really quick. But when serious issues come up, we want to use self-awareness, take a step back, and use analysis for it to unveil this filter.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that scientific definition of what bias is. And yeah. So what about you, Bustani? What do you think?
I'm going to explain bias from my perspective, like how people can be biased. From my point of view, bias is not something random. It is something that's shaped by our life. It comes from where we are from, our culture, how we were raised, who raised us, and even our political views. So, in a way, being biased is just part of being human. Bias is not always bad. I believe that there is just something interesting about bias. We often think bias is a bad thing, but actually, it's also what makes the world more exciting. Think about it. If everyone had the exact same perspective on everything, life would be really, really boring. No debates, no new ideas, no different ways of seeing things. Bias is what makes the world feel alive, colorful, and full of a perspective. And also when we talk about the bias, it's also related with the diversity and the challenges. And that bring us to the diversity. Because when we talk about bias, we're also talking about differences, like a backgrounds, like the experience, the way we thinking. So diversity could be something powerful. It can help us grow and challenge our thinking and also expand our minds. But at the same time, it can also be difficult. Like some people maybe not open, not tolerant, or not try to understand. So that's why we need to unveil the bias, turn the bias into understanding. So yeah, that's my perspective about bias.
Yeah. I guess you mentioned something about having a positive bias or something. Like, do you think can you give one example? Like, do you have one?
Like the positive bias.
Yeah, something that is positive about having a bias.
For me, like I carry a lot of bias because I'm not living here, so I was not born in here. So I'm just seeing like Denmark is like a beautiful place, like a really, really like having like a standard happiest life. So for me, like because I was from place that not really having it, so I just seeing that Denmark is really beautiful. It might be biased, but since I live here, I talk with someone like a Danish person. They think that it's not like it's not really actually. We still have something not that good. So it's like a bias that I got.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess like for me, for example, as a black person, right? I don't think it's bias. Maybe it's just a cultural thing. But like whenever like you're walking around the street and you meet another black person, for example, like we always make a eye contact and then just like give each other a nod, like I see you, like I see
bias,
you. Yeah.
Actually.
So I don't think it's a bias, but like I don't know, maybe it's just a cultural thing because like I can't do that to a white person, like just walking, like
yeah.
But like when you see another person like you just like give the person a head nod, like I see you, like yeah. So for me, like when I hear bias, for me, I think of like assumptions we make about people without really getting to know them. It's not always something we are aware of, as you mentioned. It's just like kind of happens in our everyday situations or experiences. So like even for me, I've like noticed that sometimes in certain environments, like when I meet people or someone, I can like immediately in my head think, okay, this person I can vibe with, or this person I cannot really vibe with, without knowing any reason, or it just happens subconsciously. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me, or do you guys like think you also experience similar thing? Like meeting a person, just making a first-hand decision that this person I can vibe with, or this person is not really my
I think
kind of
that
person.
I don't know, like when I in a bus or something, so like I can feel like aura, like a people have like this, some kind of like a vibe. So okay, like so I think that I'm gonna sit to next these people because they bring us like a positivity or something like that. I don't know, I'm just feeling that. But it's also, I mean, maybe I'm in a good mood, so I'm just thinking about like everyone doing the same thing, but or maybe not or something. Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it happens more like in a confined space, like some people that I have to meet up every day, like in schools or university, for example, because they're my classmate. I have to spend a lot of time with them. So like it just happens on the first day. I just observe and then be like, okay, this person, maybe he's trying or she's trying too hard, or this person I can like vibe with. But like it has, yeah.
Can you vibe with us?
100%.
100%.
You might be biased.
Yeah. Yeah. But like it has no meaning. Like I don't think in my head, okay, this person is like this. No, it just like happens like that. Yeah. But I guess that's why this podcast exists. It's not about to like point fingers, but like to understand what's going on beneath those first impressions and so on.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, before we go further, I think it's important for our listeners to know who's actually behind these conversations. So So let's take a moment to introduce ourselves properly. Maybe we can go one by one and just to name a bit about your background and why you want to be part of this podcast or this project.
Well, this is Mariana speaking. And if your unconscious mind made a quick judgment about my accent, the correct answer would be Greece. Well, 2 years ago, I was studying physics. I finished my bachelor's degree, and for 1 year I was kind of lost. But now I live in Sweden. I'm finishing my first year of master's in environmental science and sustainability studies. And I became part of the project quite recently compared to Helena and Iraide that you're gonna meet and Samuel in a little bit. And the reason I became part of it is actually that I acknowledge that I have a lot of biases on my own. And I acknowledge that quite recently as well, when I began traveling a lot in Europe, also solo traveling, meeting new people from other countries, from other small towns. And then I realized that most of my biases come from when I grew up, from my little town, which I love, of course. You know, I unveil my biases when I'm going out of my comfort zone. And this podcast is definitely out of my comfort zone, being a host, talking to a microphone that I haven't done before. So I hope this project will help me question my perspective and myself in different topics through the following episodes, while also have an open and safe space for you guys to do the same.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So hi everyone. My name is Bustomi. Maybe it's pretty hard for you to pronounce my name, so I will say it again slowly. Bustomi. And I'm from Indonesia. Now I'm studying at DTU, taking a master in sustainable energy technologies. So basically, I'm learning about engineering stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Something difficult. So I'm now in the 3rd semester. Hopefully, I will graduate in the next January. So wish me luck, guys. And here, I will accompany you through this journey to unveil all of the bias as a host, with Mariana and also with Samuel. So stay tuned and keep your curiosity.
Yeah. Well, I'm the one and only Samuel. I came from Sierra Leone, which is a little country in West Africa, but I guess I've been living here in Denmark for a while now, since I was 13. I had my education in Denmark from the 7th, and now I'm doing my master's at Roskilde University. And I'm currently in the process of writing my master's thesis, which is about one of the most underrated global challenges, that is citizenship as a stratified institution. Anyway, I've been part of this project from day one, and what made me stay is my interest in global challenges, which we'll be covering as we continue, but also about biases because, I'm a very complicated person with a lot of biases based on where I came from. And also, I've been told many times from my friends that I'm a very complicated person. And based on whom you ask, you can ask 10 people and you get 10 different persons who Samuel is. So,
complicated in a good way, or?
I mean, it depends. It depends who you ask.
Okay.
Sometimes I can be nice. Sometimes I can be, I guess it depends on your first impression of me. So that's how I'll behave towards you. Yeah. Anyway, I guess it's also time to introduce our wonderful team behind the scene.
So I'm Helena. You're not really going to hear me much. I'm mostly going to be on the ones and twos behind the computer screen and not behind the mics. Yeah, obviously I've also dealt with bias of my own and deal with bias every day, either bias towards me or my bias towards others that, I'm trying to unveil on my own. So that's partly why I joined this project. But a little bit about me first. So for simplicity, let's just say I'm Danish and British. A lot of moving, and that obviously brought up bias a lot of times, moving to different countries, living in different cultures, speaking to people from completely different backgrounds from me. I have a bachelor's degree in international relations and politics and a master's in global studies. I recently finished that. And I focus mostly on issues of global governance and security and defense, particularly concerning modern tech such as AI, which is something that we'll be talking about in later episodes. I joined this project partly to engage in conversation with people who know more than I do about different topics and hopefully to learn something and dispel my own biases. I think, especially at the moment in this sort of very polarized social media world we live in, we tend to engage more and more with people who think like us, look like us, sound like us, and we don't really get to expand on our knowledge very much. And then we just kind of sit in these biases. We don't unveil them. So this is partly why I wanted to join this project, because I worry about the effect that this has on our ability to empathize with anyone who thinks differently. And I think that really is a cornerstone to being a good person, is to think outside of your own experiences. So I hope that this podcast will open some curiosity doors for our listeners, but also for us working on the project. And I hope it facilitates some good conversation.
Right, so my name is Iraide. It's also a quite complex name to say. So I will also repeat it slowly. Iraide. I mean, it really depends on where you are from, how you can pronounce it, right? But never mind, I'm also gonna be mainly behind the scenes. I was part of the initial project of Beneath Bias with Samuel. We started this little baby that it's becoming alive now. Yeah. It sounds weird, but it's kind of like it. So yeah, the main idea behind it was basically to be able to meet people from different backgrounds in terms of academia, but also in terms of culture and all these kind of things, and then put a safe space together so we could ask questions, doubt a lot, also give opinions, and overall respect science, because in the end, science is what should meet and unveil all our biases, and that's why we will also have some opinions of experts. So we will have a comprehensive space where we all can make a lot of questions and hopefully get a lot of answers as well. But a little bit more on me, because I haven't said much. I'm from Catalonia, which is a region in Spain. But I've been moving around the Nordic countries for a while. I wouldn't say I'm culturally Nordic. Like, I'm very far from that. Every time I see it more. But I also find home in Denmark now. And I also find home almost everywhere I go. It's not about the place, it's about the people, and it's about the conversations you have. So hopefully we'll have a lot of nice conversations with such a great team, and you will hear me from time to time. So now I will give the word to Eva, who's behind our social media.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I'm Eva from Greece, just like Mariana. I'm here in Denmark to do a master in African studies. And I'm generally really interested in art, culture, people, and I knew that from a really young age. And the reason I really like projects like this one, and I love that I'm involved in it, is because I have this kind of, metaphorically saying, disease that I love conversation and arguing as well, but in a sense of even if I agree with you, sometimes I will initiate an argue or trying to do like the devil's advocate, just because I think it's fascinating to understand where your biases lie and to try kind of unveil different kind of perspectives and understand different context. And yeah, so in general, I love places that kind of foster and spark discussion and exploring. And yeah, I hope, and I really think this podcast is going to be about that in many different topics with a lot of different people. And yeah, I think it's nice to not be scared and not say sorry sometimes about your own biases. Be honest though, but not necessarily say, sorry for arguing, because we have this tendency to say, oh, I'm sorry for having a different opinion. It's okay. I think
It's totally okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
So, yeah, I hope you all enjoy. And I think I'm the last one. So.
Well, thank you for that wonderful presentation about yourself. And as you have noticed that we all came from a different background from Asia, Europe, and Africa. So I really wonder if that's going to like kind of affect the way we approach these conversations we'll be having later on and also in the future. What do you think?
Definitely is going to affect. I think that was the whole reason of having such a diverse background. We want all perspectives, all parts of the world, all of rows of thinking to create a conversation that is not a common conversation you're going to have over a cup of coffee outside with your friends. So
yeah, for me it's gonna be like really exciting. Of course, like I'm from Asia, so I can bring something perspective, point of view from somewhere from Asia, like Indonesia. So we're gonna talk about it later, which is like really, really nice to have diversity in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unique because we are from different continents. But even, for example, like if we're all from Europe, like if we're reading a text, we all have like different understanding of the same text.
Exactly.
So now we have like different backgrounds, which is even more unique. So I guess it's going to be a very interesting conversation going forward.
Yes. And also I'm engineer only in here. So we're going to talk about everything, of course.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to move on to the logistics part?
Yes, let's do that. Because now people know who we are. So I guess it's time to like talk a little bit about what the podcast will be like looking forward.
So let's start. Each episode dives into different topics, from Arctic climate research under geopolitical pressure to greenwashing, inequalities in tech industry, and the growing role of artificial intelligence in society. We will also be doing live events.
Oh, live events? Very nice.
That was a paid reaction, guys.
Okay.
Around the Copenhagen area, so stay tuned for that, and also follow us on social media. We will have that in our description. Along the way, we invite experts to share their knowledge, challenge our thinking, and help us and you guys understand these issues a little bit deeper. Also, episodes are around 30 minutes long, so it's just enough time to question your worldview. Do you have anything else to add? Or
well, I think the most important part of this is not just about us trying to create a space where people listening can like reflect and maybe even see things differently. So if you're listening, you're also part of this conversation we'll be having.
So yeah, and also if you guys have I don't know, like maybe question or anything about our podcast or the future episode, you guys also can throw the question to our social media, and then hopefully we can bring that question in our next episode or maybe in our live events.
Yeah, guys, you can be also co-host of this episode. This is super open.
Very open.
And also if you know someone that might be really interesting to talk with us, so just mention them, and then possibility like we gonna invite them to talk with us.
So if you are in the Copenhagen area, join DDRN at the Danish Science Festival at Union in Nørrebro at 7:30 p.m. on the 21st of April, where we sit down to discuss migration and mental health. The entry is free, so you don't have to think about that, and we'd love to meet you in person. The link is in the show notes, so that's all from us for now, and join us next time when we talk to Dr. Ingvild Bode to discuss the futuristic weapons in existence today, the military uses of AI, and the technological realities of modern warfare. If you like us, please give us a rating and review and tell your friend about us. This has been DDRN Presents, Beneath Bias, unveiling one story at a time.